Welcome back to the Paws Up preview as this season rolls along. I am Jake Gibson, joined alongside my friend and co-host Kevin Barral. And Kev, well, we did just about everything we could to provide excellent content coverage during Vice Night, but unfortunately our vices were spoiled by the Kennesaw State Owls as well. We got to move on and get ready for the next game here in Springfield against the Missouri State Bears. But how's it been, Kevin?
Well, you kind of noted it, right? We tried our best. Everything was set up for an awesome night, right? And unfortunately, the best part of the night was the shirtless men waving their shirts and all that stuff. That got pretty good national attention.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, the play on the field was not great, and unfortunately, the Panthers came up short, losing by a final score 45-26 to the Kennesaw State Owls. FIU drops to 1-2 in conference play, 3-4 on the season. And unfortunately, I think it's fair to say that the conference championship is kind of out of reach. FIU would have to run the table. They would have to win the remainder of their games. There have been teams to make it with 2 wins, but FIU finds themselves in a sticky situation. I mean, clearly 6 wins is still on the table. The goal of making the bowl game is still there. Easily, they could do it. It would take 3 wins, obviously, but it's possible. And unfortunately, just the goal of what we thought could have actually been, which was the conference championship, which is technically FIU still has an opportunity, right? But it's not what it was going into the Vice Night game. So, on the bright side, KJ Owens, 166 rushing yards. He had a touchdown. Anthony Carey had a touchdown.
Even more yards.
Kewan Jenkins, 296 passing yards, a touchdown. He actually looked pretty great. Shout out to Alex Perry. Nice game. 7 receptions, 75 yards. Congratulations to Eric Nelson Jr. 3 receptions, 39 yards, 1 touchdown. Shout out to Johnny Chaney. I know you don't want to, in these circumstances, having 16 total tackles isn't great, but still cool to see. But yeah, tough night for FIU. It was a good atmosphere. A lot of, I guess, quote unquote stars were out there. We had Young Thug, Bordeaux, G-Fed, a couple other guys, and there's an actor out there. Pardon me, don't know the name. I was born in 2005, so kill me. But yeah, good night at the stadium, right? So got to move on to Mo State, who came out with a big win against New Mexico State. So looking forward to this matchup. It's another road game. FIU begins now a 2-game road trip. First Mo State, and then a really bad Middle Tennessee team that almost got it done against Delaware. Delaware, unfortunately, they blew a lead early and never were able to really catch up. So looking forward to this. Looking forward to talking. It's been a while. It always feels like we say it's been a while, but it really hasn't. It's just 1 week. And, I asked Willie this today, and I want to get your thoughts. I have my thoughts. I want to get your thoughts. Final thoughts on weekday CUSA.
It's great for exposure. It's great for the brand. The name itself, Weekday CUSA, is a fun, term. It's like Maction, For what it's doing for Conference USA, I guess monetarily, and to give it, exposure to the college football world, it's great. But I'll always prefer Friday night, Saturday football. That's just how it is for college. That's how it should be. It's like sacred, like the Pac-12, but nothing's sacred anymore, like the Pac-12.
I agree. I'll go with this. Willie said this, and I agree with it, but at the same time, it's like you have to say that. There's no excuse, obviously, but think about it. Last week, Kennesaw State played La Tech, I think. When was that game? And then look when FIU played Western Kentucky.
Yes.
Obviously, one was a home game. The other one was a road game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, FIU had less time to prepare for Kennesaw State.
Yes.
In which Kennesaw State had more time to prepare for FIU.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So just take that with what you will. Willie noted this in the press conference. And he noted, and I don't know if you caught this when he said it, he said, there are some things maybe that Kennesaw threw at us that we hadn't seen because obviously they had more time to prepare. He said that, but not verbatim. Yeah. I'm not going to say it was verbatim. It was something along those lines. Pretty close, honestly. Now, this week against Missouri State just played. We're recording this on Thursday. They played on Wednesday. FIU played on Tuesday. Missouri State, I believe, went to Las Cruces. So they're now probably – they came back the next day at who knows, right? Like 3, 4 in the morning, maybe even longer than that.
Right.
Las Cruces it's actually a pretty easy spot to get out of. It's just a long flight. So FIU gets the extra day. They're at home. So now it comes for me to say that, and I know you're trying to like hold a little laugh in there. I don't know what a little look you're giving me for talking too long, but I think what it comes down to is there needs to be better scheduling for these games.
Yes, I agree.
If I understand, there's no excuse. You got to play the game. It's a conference game, and
it is.
And I'm not going to say FIU lost the game because they had less time to prepare. Clearly not. We're going to talk about the specifics of it because there's clearly a lot more that went wrong than just, hey, FIU had to go to Western Kentucky, whoop their ass over there, and come back and at 4 in the morning, which is the time we came back and prepare.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was almost. I didn't get back to my house into my bed until 5 a.m. But anyways,
what did you do after the game?
I mean, we had post game. They all had to shower up and get back into the bus. It's going to the airport, going through TSA. Some people go through it, some people don't. It's a whole process, man.
Yeah.
If I go to Mo State, if I end up going to the Mo State trip, I'll do a little video explanation of everything. Okay. I think that'll actually be pretty cool behind the scenes stuff. But it goes without saying, I like the exposure because clearly, I mean, the Kennesaw FIU game was the only thing going on at that time that actually mattered. The Western La Tech game started a little bit later. Like, dude, I mean, the shirtless thing would not have been as viral.
It's called Tarps Off, by the way. That's the name of the trend. Tarps Off.
Well, Tarps Off would not have happened had we not been in weekday CUSA. Like it would have happened, but it wouldn't have taken the national attention the way it did. Yeah. The only thing people were watching that night was weekday CUSA because of the Vice, because of it's actually it was a good game for the most part. Like the optics of the game were pretty great. But I will go on to say, weekday CUSA, I love it, I enjoy it, but goddamn, I am so glad to be back on Saturday football after this week. Just the road aspect of it kind of stinks because you have to go to the road. Like, think you lose a day. Like, for people that work, you lose the day of work going to the place. Then you work the day of the game, obviously, and then you essentially lose the day after because you don't get back until really late. So, yeah, I'll just say that. And then obviously for coaches, like you have to stay in the office. Like Coach Mack said this, last year, 2 years ago when they first started weekdays USA. Like they had to stay back. So I have my thoughts on it. I think it's cool. We get the CBS Sports Network game, which I think is honestly. I prefer CBS Sports Network.
Best broadcast.
Yeah, it's much better done. Shout out. They actually have a sideline person too, which is great. So, I like weekday CUSA. I think there's some problems with it still, the scheduling side of things. And even remember last year in Vice Night, like FI only had like 4 or 5 days to prepare. It wasn't that long. So it was going from UTEP to Sam Houston. So I would have to look back at that. But yeah, a lot to think about when it comes to it. But there's nothing going on. So it's a football game that people watch. And I think, actually, shout out to Darren. He mentioned this. 700,000 people tuned into the Vice Night game.
Hell yeah.
500K tuned into the Western game. So
there you go.
It clearly gets eyes on the program.
It worked.
In a good or a bad way, it gets eyes on the program. And shout out to Bordeaux and GFED. I mean, Bordeaux just dropped his video. GFED probably will drop his in the coming days when we're recording this. So it's just more eyes on your program.
Couple things to know. I already said this, but Tarps Out, the name of this shirtless trend that's sweeping the college football nation. The actor in question, by the way, was Cuba Gooding Jr. He played Rod Tidwell in the 1996 film Jerry Maguire. I'm a 2000 kid. Kevin's like 2005. So there goes your explanation for that. And I guess that's probably as good a segue as I can to actually talking about what the hell happened on Vice Night, what happened on the field, because there was so much stuff that happened off the field. Let's just get right into it, Kevin. And, well, I will say this loss feels different than the Delaware and UConn losses. Those losses felt kind of hopeless. There's some hope in this loss because there were quite a few things FIU did in that game that I feel positive of. The running game, the way their defense adjusted and didn't allow a point for most of the third quarter. And I think they stacked up well in certain areas. This is not as tough a loss, I would say, as those previous two, which kind of left you scratching your head, wanting more from this team.
Yeah, you say that, but think about it. 0-3 in Vice.
That's its own thing.
You're on national TV. And it's a game that you were. I mean, depending the book. Well, we can't be talking about this too much, but depending the book that you were looking at for the bets, you either FIU was favored or Kennesaw was favored. So
I guess that's a sensitive topic here, right?
Yeah, we can't be talking too much about that. But yes, it's not as bad as those two losses that you noted, but it just hurts a little more because you want to win in the jerseys. Like, imagine if FIU had won the game. You're most likely in.
We would have joined the crowd. You and I, right?
No, you would have. I would be recording you and laughing at it. But think about it. FIU. I'm almost certain would be first or second place in the conference for the first time since 2018 or 2016. Would have been 2-1 in conference play. Like, truly over 500 in conference play. Unfortunately, not the case. But yeah, I think FIU played well, for the most part. But again, Kennesaw outgained FIU on the ground. What was it? 2-4. Actually, FIU ended up outgaining Kennesaw after the stat changes. So I retract my statement. But FIU, and this is what Willie said post game, they let 5-yard games turn into 70-yard games. Now, albeit, you look at one of the replays of I think it was the Gabriel Benyard or Coleman Bennett rushing touchdown, like a 78-yard rushing touchdown. He clearly stepped on the line. Like, he was out by a mile. And I will tell you right now, not a lot of people were happy about that. And I'm not going to say who, but not a lot of people were happy about that. So just going to say that. Really bad officiating by Conference USA. It seems like a lot has been going on this year with the stemming calls, the violent movement call, which I think they call it stemming. There's been an issue with that. There's an issue with the field goal stuff. At 1.2 in Bethune, Willie kind of didn't put the officiating on blast, but he kind of was like, they do a good job, but we need to find consistency. And he's had talks with officiating crews. He's had talk with the elite officials or the head official of the Conference USA, even Conference Commissioner Judy McLeod. So that's definitely something to keep in mind moving forward. Just like, let's find consistency with the calls, because clearly, and you're going to have to bleep this out, FI got f***ed over, like, on many points of this game. Like you look at the touchdown, the rushing touchdown, like, that shouldn't have happened. Like, FIU should have had an opportunity to stop them after that. And they had done a good job stopping Kennesaw for the most part. It was just a lot of busted coverages and a lot of bad calls. There was a check that apparently they hadn't called all year, and they called. Had no idea why he called it.
Yeah.
Ashton Levels unfortunately got injured. Thankfully, he's fine. He seems like he's practicing and is going to be back. I honestly thought his ACL was gone after that, but clearly not. So, yeah, just a lot of explosive plays. Kennesaw State was a team that didn't have a lot of explosive plays. They ranked towards the bottom of Conference USA specifically in explosive plays, but towards the middle of the pack of the country. FIU is still one of the teams with the most explosive plays in the country, so that doesn't change. But if you want to beat Mo State, you're going to have to find a way to limit those quick pass plays and actually tackle. FIU struggled to tackle. They had drop passes. That stuff can't happen against Kennesaw State. And they should have – I'm not going to say they should have won, because Kennesaw State clearly was the better team that day. And I think Kennesaw State's going to go to the Conference USA Championship game. I still think they're staying in first place in the conference, 3-0 in conference play. So – they won 5 in a row. Like, there's not much you can do. Like, they're a good team. They have 2 good quarterbacks, I think. Omari Odom, who had a really nice game, got hurt towards the end. Had to go with Dexter Williams, who lit it up. So, yeah, tough one, but got to move on and see what you can do. But defensively, a lot needs to change. And the pass game was actually good.
It was good. Jenkins had a good game.
You can't blame Kiwan for this one whatsoever. He had a good game. Like, maybe 1 or 2 passes, but like, when you're literally feeding the ball to the receiver, you're putting it in their hands, and then you drop it like McGuire Anderson in the case of the running back Devontae Lyons did. You can't do anything. And then Willie spoke about this too, the decision to kick it on 4th down, opt for the 23-yard field goal, which Noah Grant eventually missed, and he is right about this. Look, like, you could say whatever you want. Like, had Noah Grant made that, it's a 24-20 game. Had they opted to go for 4th down to go for it on 4th down and go for a touchdown, had they gotten the touchdown, Willie looks like a genius. Had they not gone for the touchdown, had they gone for it and not gotten the touchdown, you would be saying what the heck, Willie? Like, why aren't you
Yeah.
going? Why aren't you opting for the field goal? So I get where he's coming from. That's something you have to ask, though, if there was any consideration. I don't know if he was joking when he said this, but I think he wasn't. He said if it was 4th and 5, he would have gone for it. If it was 4th and 6,
analytics, baby.
He said it was 4th and 6. The analytics say you kicked the field goal, so he kicked the field goal. And to his credit, Noah Grant had been 4 for 4 the previous game. He hit a 43-yarder in the game early on. So what makes you think a 23-yard cheap shot, wouldn't be missed or would be missed? So yeah, tough one. He ended up making another field goal after. I think it was a 28-yarder, but yeah, just tough because at the end of the day, you have a 70-yard bomb after that touchdown. So on the
that was the turning point of the game. That missed field goal. Everything that happened after that missed field goal was utter disaster for the FIU team. They were in this game with like minutes to go in the third. It was a 1-score game with minutes to go. And then everything hit the fan after that missed field goal. And look, we've seen Noah Grant. He has a strong leg. He's accurate. That 43-yarder looked like it could have been good from 53 because it was perfect down the middle, had a lot of power to it. So, I mean, the fact that he missed that was absolutely surreal. And everything that transpired after that was absolutely ridiculous for FIU. Well, let's talk about a few things they did right, some stuff they can build on, Kevin. The running game, you mentioned it, continues to carry this offense at times. Over 200 combined yards between Owens and Carey, a pair of touchdowns there. Jenkins, another game, no interceptions. Awesome. He's continuing to do that now. A pair of games, Western Kentucky and Kennesaw, no picks from Lights, which is great to see. And the defense did a great job adjusting to what Kennesaw State was throwing at him in the first half. The second half only gave up 12 points total, and it really looked like they gave up 21 points. But everything before that missed field goal, I thought the defense played great, forced a couple punts. Aside from that, trying to find some ginormous positives. It's a little tough, Kevin. Penalties hurt this team. You mentioned that. I think they were 0 for 2 on 4th down. And like take away that final drive what you will, because it was stat padding, right? It was trying to get some motivation towards the next game, maybe on what they did on that final
you
drive.
said that in the post game, and I disagreed with you. They did this in the Delaware game. Remember, they clearly said why they did it. They did it first of all because you're trying out new things. At this point in the game, you just want to see what you got. That's why
Jenkins was still in though.
They didn't put. Well, you asked post game, the Delaware game. Why no Joe Pizanski? No need to do it. Why the game was close up until almost the very. I mean, it was winnable. I'm not going to say it was close. It wasn't close. It was winnable up until the very end. They tried out new things. Sequan Jean-Pierre which was a lot more involved in the offense. So I disagree. They're trying new things. It just happened to be that Sequan Jean-Pierre busted out for a big play. Like there's nothing you could do about that. Like at that point. What are you going to do? Just kneel the ball and lose the game? Like lose by more? Like, no, you're going to go score a touchdown. You're already there. Okay. Now, the part I did not like and was Eric Nelson celebrating as much as he did following the touchdown, which Willie Simmons spoke about after the game, saying he can't do that. You have to be situationally aware of what's going on in that moment. You're losing by a hell of a lot of points, or you're going to lose the game. You're not winning the game. Unless FIU would have recovered the onside kick, you're not winning the game. You're going to lose the game. Let's just go for they apparently they weren't able to get the call in time with the 2-point conversion, which ended up not being successful. So just goes to show. So I disagree with the assessment that it shouldn't count or it's garbage time. Like, yeah, it's garbage time, but you're clearly trying to play for something. You're trying to do something out of it. You're trying to get something going. If it wasn't for the touchdown, Eric Nelson Jr., I mean, you wouldn't be saying, hey, maybe this is a guy who could do something for you in week 10 against Missouri State. So I disagree with the assessment of the garbage time or whatever it may have been that you were saying. They should count stat padding. It wasn't stat padding. I mean, for the love of God, I mean, Kennesaw State scored a touchdown right at the end of the game too. Like, what are you going to say? They're stat padding? That's more of an issue of stat padding than FIU.
That entire drive, they just like ran the ball. That entire FIU just couldn't stop them. But they were running the ball.
So what are you going to say? They were stat padding? They weren't stat padding. They were just playing the game.
They weren't like going for passes. They were just running the ball.
Stat padding is 73-0 against FIU. That is stat padding.
We don't talk about that game.
Well, I'm telling you, that's stat padding.
Actually, we don't even have to talk about it anymore after the win.
Tell me, do you think FIU FIU ran up the score against Bethune? Clearly, they didn't have much opportunity to do it, but they did it. Their games, Delaware, I'm pretty sure also ran up the score against FIU. Didn't have to do it. But Kennesaw State did not run up the score on FIU. Maybe at the end, sure, you can make the case. I just think FIU was unable to stop them in that final drive. And unfortunately, Kennesaw left John.
Yeah, exactly. They couldn't stop it.
But yeah, you can't say they're intentionally stat padding, though. They're trying to run down the clock. And coincidentally, they just busted out for a pretty big play and putting them in the red zone. Same case for FIU. That's not stat padding. That's just how it happens. I mean, the other team clearly made a mistake. FIU on defense was not able to stop Kennesaw, and Kennesaw left John Pierre essentially wide open for a big run. And shout out to Eric Nelson. That was a pretty nice catch. And I think
it was nice.
And I think they should have given him the catch on the 2-point conversion. He had the foot down. He didn't have full control of the ball, but he should have been gotten it. And actually, this is pretty funny. You can see him on the ESPN2 broadcast going like this, like a catch.
Yeah.
You would have to look back. But yes, I disagree.
Those are weird broadcasts, by the way. A lot of weird things showed up.
Hence why I said
CBS Sports.
But yeah.
I'll just say this about the final drive and move on. With having guys like Kewan still in there. You remember the hit Kewan took against Western Kentucky, final couple minutes that sidelined him out for a while? It would really suck if that kind of hit would occur on Jenkins in that final drive when the game is already way out of reach.
I agree. But the difference is this.
That's the risk. That's the risk.
Yes, 100%. But this is the thing. Joe Pizanski was already in the game during the Western Kentucky game earlier. He was warmed up. He's good to go. He was clearly backup that day. It was obvious his day. He played in the game quite a bit too. Joe Pizanski had not played in the game whatsoever against Kennesaw at all. He didn't play. He wasn't in the uniform, but he had like a thing on, like an orange like vest on. But he wasn't playing. So make it out with why are you going to throw in a cold arm in the game? That's not going to do anything. He came into the UConn game because the game was over. The game technically wasn't over. Willie Simmons was going to try to win that game, even if it didn't look like a win. Like they went for the onside kick. Like what did you want him to do? Not go for the onside kick?
That was an interesting onside kick, by the way.
It was pretty creative. Will Hoyt, I think, is the one who kicked. I was on the field at that point, but I think Will Hoyt's the one who had the kick. They were close. Like they were pretty close to getting it too. So you just only wonder what could have happened. They were going to win the game. But you only wonder what would have happened. Final
thoughts on Vice Night before we move on. I mean, I said this in the post-game show. Maybe FIU should schedule a Vice Night against like an FCS team midweek so that they can finally have a shot of actually winning while wearing the Vice uniforms next season.
Should they even schedule a Vice Night? I love the Vice Nights.
They're going to have to do something drastic. Make it
all
all
pink. The jerseys. I love the videos. I love the Lambos. But if you can't win the game, you're going to keep getting, I mean, no offense, you're going to keep getting clowned. Oh, that's the other thing. What were your thoughts on the security team piling around the Lambo the way that they
I don't blame them.
Have you seen the photo? I took some photos. I haven't sent them to you.
But
this is where I want, and I spoke to some people about this, and this was apparently this was mentioned around a couple days after. Like, isn't it a worse look to have one security guard there throughout the whole game? It was one security guard. We saw
one dude, yeah.
And then 5 minutes before the game ends, I'm on the field and I'm seeing the head of security just haul over a ton of dudes saying, let's surround the Lambo. Like, ESPN is going to put the cameras. They're going to show a ton of dudes in CSC shirts, because that's the security company, around the Lambo, covering it as if it's like $1 million. Like,
well, it's pretty expensive, Kevin. It is a Lambo. I guess we can start talking about the Missouri State Bears 25 minutes in.
It was
the Bears. They're coming from, Kevin, one of the greatest FCS conferences ever, the Missouri Valley Football Conference. That's where all the Dakotas play. Illinois State, Northern Iowa, but one of my favorite FCS conferences or FCS teams, Youngstown State, the Penguins. That's where Missouri State came from, and so far in their first year in FBS, Kevin, they look all right. They're not. I don't think they're having the season Delaware's having in their first year, but they're coming into this game on a heater. Back-to-back road wins in Conference USA. That's not too shabby, Kevin.
Yeah, no, they've been impressive, and for what it's worth, I mean, it's been against Middle Tennessee, New Mexico State, and I'm missing another team. Oh, they played Western pretty close too. They almost beat Western.
No, that was a trap game for them.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, I mean, they're a good team. And they got Jacob Clark back, who's a really good quarterback. He's been around for a while. Gives me like the Fognano, Veltkamp, McIver type of vibe, like a more in the pocket guy. But Jelani, who was it? Someone was saying it. Oh, Willie said this in the press conference today that Jacob Clark is sneaky quick. Like he doesn't look that fast, but he's a lot faster than he looks. So that'll be something I'm going to be looking at during the game, during whatever. I may look at some highlights, see what's up. But yeah, it's a good team. Final time we'll be seeing a former Panther, Shamari Lawrence. So
makes me sad. Makes me sad that we'll have to see them unless
we've got KJ.
We do have KJ. Yeah, you're right. We know someone that can get us more insight on the state of Missouri State and Springfield, Missouri, for that matter. Kevin, seems like an interesting city. The home of Bass Pro Shops, the home of O'Reilly's Auto Parts,
Cashew chicken.
Hell yes. Well, we know a guy who can get us all that info. It's Maddox of the Growl, one of the newest members of the CUSA podcast roundtable and the college huddle. So let's hear from Maddox and what he has to say about Mo State right now. Okay, we continue on here in the Paws Up preview. We hope you've been enjoying the show so far. Now it's time to get into the opposing team section of the preview. And who better to talk to than Maddox of the Growl, the Missouri State podcast for both the CUSA podcast roundtable and the college huddle. Maddox, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Jank. Thank you so much for having us on again. It's always a fun time talking football with you here and looking forward to this matchup.
Yeah, as am I. And conveniently, I happened to already speak with you not that long ago in regards to previewing the Missouri State-New Mexico State matchup over at the roundtable, which I hope you all enjoyed. But now we get to bring it around town talking about this game at Plaster Stadium between the Bears and the Panthers. So let's get right into talking about where this program is. I mean, good golly, they're 4-3 in their first season in FBS. That's really good. I hope you realize how difficult it is to succeed this much in your first year in FBS. So just talk a bit about expectations so far. We mentioned it on over at the roundtable, up and down season thus far, but with 2 games in a row, Missouri State's entering this game on a heater, 4-3. Obviously, no bowl game, no CUSA title game contention for the first season, but already has this season exceeded your expectations for what this team could do?
The word expectations has been a buzzword this year on Missouri State's campus. And it's interesting because I think the expectations from the fans, from the media, they were a lot lower than what the team seems to have put forward, because all we keep hearing right now from head coach Ryan Beard, from the players, is that this is what they anticipated all along. They knew they were going to come out and win lots of games and play good football, and they certainly have. So I think it's been a shock to the community. But as for the team, they're cool as cucumbers right now. It seems like they expected this.
Definitely. And the man to lead the charge is, of course, Ryan Beard, who's been at Missouri State for a few years, but since 23 has been the head honcho over there in Springfield. Just talk a bit about what it means to have this guy lead the troops coming from FCS to FBS. I think I told this to you a while ago. I think he made one of the best impressions at the media days for Conference USA leading up to the season. Just how has he been now in this brand new landscape of college football for the program?
For one of the youngest coaches in the entire FBS, it's really impressive to see what Ryan Beard has been able to accomplish in his first year in Conference USA, and really in his first 3 years as the head coach at Missouri State. I'm starting to believe more and more that he's taking on that role as a defensive guru, and it's just amazing to watch him do what he does with defensive coordinator LD Scott. I love the look that he gets in his eye when he talks about the next opponent and what his hopes are for game planning, getting ready for the opposing offense, because it seems like he has a plan. And that is always step number one. You go in with a vision and you have high hopes for what you're going to be able to accomplish. And again, I know we've talked about this a lot with Missouri State, but the big, massive improvements this team has taken ever since that first game against the USC Trojans in week 1, where they gave up 73 points to that Power 4 school, off the charts. I mean, you couldn't have ever expected this. That performance against New Mexico State on Wednesday, allowing only 17 points to that offense.
Yeah.
I think it was somewhere around 200 passing yards and maybe just above 100 rushing yards. Phenomenal, outstanding, terrific. And I think this defense just continues to trend upward. It's really been impressive.
Looking on the offensive side of the ball now, by the way, I'm guessing Beard would have liked to have gotten that win over Western Kentucky, a team he spent a few years with in the past. Almost made it happen. That was a trap game for the Tops, no doubt. I didn't think that FIU would be the one to put the stake in the heart. I thought it'd be the Bears, honestly. But to get back on track here, Jacob Clark and what he's meant for this, I would say, pass versus run second offense has been pretty outstanding. Again, this is another guy that made the jump with the team from FCS to FBS. He's like, where would you say Clark stands as far as quarterbacks in Missouri State's history? And just talk about, again, how great it's been for this guy to succeed in this transition first year in FBS.
I think you could definitely make the argument, Jake, that he now is number one in the record books for Missouri State quarterbacks. I mean, he's already got the single season records for passing yards, completions, and touchdowns. He's coming up on another record for a career. I think he's getting close to the career touchdown pass mark for the Bears. So it just seems like the longer he sticks around, the more time he has to put up big time numbers, the more he cements his legacy here in Springfield, Missouri. And I think the word that describes him best is he's a competitor. You just see how animated he gets during game when things aren't going Missouri State's way. He really gets frustrated. He takes it to heart. And I think lots of that has to deal with the fact that if you opened up his heart, I think a bear would pop out. I mean, This guy, he passed up on going to some other schools in the offseason, could have transferred, made a little bit more money, but he decided to stick around for his last year in collegiate football to play at Missouri State once again. That just says how much he cares about this program and how passionate he is about leading this team into the highest level of college football.
So far, he's done a pretty good job at that this season. Interception mark a little bit high in his first year in FBS, but I mean, what can you say? It is FBS after all. But I think the big problem that I feel like you brought this up not that long ago was the running attack for Missouri State has not been the most successful this year for the Bears. They rank ninth in Conference USA in total rushing yards per game, just over 3 digits, and even with a certified dog in Shamari Lawrence at running back, and I would know. So talk a bit about what you've seen from Lawrence and how much it meant to get him to come from FIU to Missouri State to sort of become the guy there at the running room, but still how this running attack is leaving a lot to be desired.
Yeah, I admire the grit out of Shamari Lawrence. I mean, to go through this stage of the season right here and having played in all the games he's played in thus far and not have the results that maybe he hoped that he could have had up to this point in the year, it's impressive that he's still running full steam ahead. I think he had one of his best performances on Wednesday against the Aggies, 21 attempts for, I believe it was 96 yards. And to do that against an FBS defense, that's really impressive. Of course, he's done it in the past with FIU, but to do it at Missouri State, I think means a little bit more just because of where this program is right now. But I think another thing that they're starting to develop, and maybe this could help with their ground game, they've got Ramon Green Jr., who they've used a lot in the passing game so far this year, but now they're starting to generate more touches for him on the ground as well. And I think having that second back that you can go to rush can really help improve what you do with those attempts, because if you have one guy that you know is going to get the touches, it's a little bit more predictable for those defenses to expect that and to prepare themselves to make that stop. But if you can get two guys back there who can consistently run the ball, that's going to help a lot.
Is there really a wide receiver one at Missouri State? I feel like there are like 5 different players that get near even receptions and even yards and touchdowns, and it's kind of hard to determine who is wide receiver one. You have one of the best named players in Conference USA, Dash Luke. Of course, he's a receiver. You mentioned Ramon Green, Rennell Johnson, Tristan Gardner. They all provide near equal yardage and equal touchdowns with this offense. So is there really a wide receiver one in this system that you could point to? And just talk about the group effort with this receiving core so far.
Well, if you remember, Jake, all the way back before the season began, Jamarie Robinson was the guy that everybody penciled in as the
Right.
Bears wide receiver one. And I feel like he still hasn't unlocked his full potential this year from what we saw him do last year. So things could get really dangerous for this offense if he starts to generate more yards. Dash Luke, if he continues to do what he does out of the slot receiver position. Ronell Johnson, he caught the first ever pass for the Bears as members of the FBS when they played USC a while back. So he's been really consistent. Tristan Gardner, he caught the first touchdown pass for the Bears when they played USC. So guys that can produce in multiple ways, and they just win their matchups. I think if you get any of those guys one-on-one, you would be confident that they would be able to overcome their defender and make a big-time play. And that's what we saw just recently in Wednesday's contest against New Mexico State. I mean, you get the ball first in overtime, you go out, and Jacob Clark makes a nice pass, and you score a touchdown because these receivers, they're out there to play. They go and make catches.
Without a doubt. It's very unique. It's a very unique offense. Take me through the history a little bit. Is Missouri State usually been a pass-heavy run option kind of offense, or is this a new look in their jump to FBS?
I think over the past few years, the pass definitely has been what the Bears have favored. They did have a good dynamic duo last year, though, with Jacardier Wright and Jaden Becks out of the backfield. They earned the nicknames Thunder and Lightning here at Missouri State. And I think that's what excites lots of fans right now is the possibility that Shamari Lawrence and Ramon Green Jr. can start to become that second Thunder and Lightning that this team seems to have missed in the first half of the season. And I think that's a big piece of the puzzle that this team could use right now, because I think one problem that presents itself when the Bears aren't able to run the ball effectively is they're not able to convert well on third down. And that's been probably the biggest downfall of the squad so far this year. Because if you're not staying in front of the sticks, if you've got consistent third and longs to convert, then eventually you're not going to be able to execute those, and you're going to hand the ball right back to your opponent. And I think we've seen that.
You mentioned that more than anything else in that prior preview. It was the third down inconsistency with this Missouri State offense. Is that their biggest weakness? Is sort of an amalgamation of that, the run game, maybe some stuff on defense that we even have yet to talk about, but is that the big Achilles heel of this team so far?
There's only one glaring issue that I can see presenting a bigger problem to the Bears than the third down issue, and that's turning the ball over in the red zone. We saw it happen twice on Wednesday against the Aggies. Jacob Clark threw an interception from around the 20, and then Shamari Lawrence fumbled the ball inside the 10. And that is ultimately what could cost this team the most, because you've got 3 points on the board. Yusuf Obiad, even though he hasn't had as great of a season as he had last year, you're still going to have a lot of trust in him to go out and knock down a field goal under 40 yards. And right now they're not giving him those opportunities because it just seems like every time the Bears get in the red zone, they're either not punching it in for 6 or 7 points, or they're turning the ball over and they get nothing.
That definitely is going to be interesting against an FIU defense that, against Western Kentucky of all teams, forced multiple interceptions or turnovers within the red zone. That's a good thing to note there. So turning it over to the defense now, just talk a bit about who are some of the biggest playmakers that the FIU faithful should be worrying about, both in the trenches as well as in the secondary, who has done a relatively good job so far this season creating turnovers as well.
I've got a few for you, Jake. You mentioned the secondary there. You've got Jordan Dunbar and Thomas Anderson, two guys who have really emerged and made some pivotal plays, and they've done it in big spots as well, which gives you a lot of confidence in what this team's going to be able to do against the pass. But on top of that, I want to highlight two guys in particular. Kanye Young, captain of this defense, seems like he just does just about everything. He's in there batting balls down. He's a great tackler. He's able to get in there and blitz if he needs to. Kanye Young is really what I like to say, the glue that holds this defense together. But on top of that, you've got another guy who's always been present throughout the year, but I think he made a statement on Wednesday in this win over the Aggies. Devon Townley Jr. on his birthday comes up with 2 big sacks, and he also blocked a field goal in that contest. That guy is out there, and he's doing whatever he can to help this team win defensively. It seems like these guys just continue to build off each other with more and more success, and that's got to fire you up more than anything if you're a Missouri State Bear.
Definitely. So on defense specifically, what is, you would say, the glaring problem there? I mean, looking at the numbers, they do a pretty solid job at pretty much every main statistic, getting to the quarterback, forcing those turnovers, even fumbles as well. So just what is the biggest part of this defense that you worry that FIU could potentially sort of take advantage of on offense?
It's got to be the penalties, Jake. And that is not something that you want to hear about at this stage in the year, of course, because you want your teams to be disciplined. You want your guys to stay away from the fouls and make sure that they're playing good, clean football. But that's been one of the things that stuck out for this defensive side of the ball. Lots of face mask penalties over the past few weeks. Pass interference has started to be a prevalent call going against Missouri State's secondary. But the good news for them is they've been able to get around it. And I think my one fear about this unit is that at some point that may come back to bite them. And you want to make sure that doesn't cost you a game by committing a big-time foul that's going to lead to a first down and eventually a game-winning touchdown for the other side. So that's going to be important that they get that under control. And Coach Ryan Beard, he was talking about that in the press conference on Friday, and it seems like he's really adamant about getting that corrected. So if they can do that, then there are basically no more flaws to talk about with this defense. They've been outstanding.
And I guess the last thing I'll have to ask about the roster is actually the kicking situation, because your kicker 10 for 16, not exactly the best numbers entering the season. Granted, I believe all, if not most, of those missed kicks were from either 40 or 50 plus. So just talk about the kicking situation there. Is it a little unstable, or do you think they'll be ready to go on Wednesday?
I think the word that comes to mind for me is uncharacteristic. Yusuf Obid, he was one of the best kickers in the Missouri Valley Football Conference last year. It seems like every time Ryan Beard sent him out there, it was automatic, no matter where he was kicking from on the field. He's never really had a lot of range. He's maybe a 49, 50-yard field goal guy maximum. He had a 50-yard kick attempt against the Aggies and didn't go his way. It was wide right. But I think what he needs to focus on is making the kicks that he knows he can make. That's the 30 and 40-yard field goals, and he has missed a couple of those so far this year. So it is something that you got to look out for. But I think another thing that can help with that, Jake, is if this offense starts to take more control, take some of the pressure off of him by going out and actually converting with touchdowns instead of always leaving it up to Obid to try to save the day and put 3 points up on the board so the Bears don't walk away empty-handed. And right now it seems like that pressure is just too much for that leg. So hoping that this offense can maybe take away some of that stress.
Alrighty then. We don't know the odds for this game yet, but I'm just going to assume Missouri State will be favored because they are at home and they are on a hot streak. So if Missouri State doesn't want FIU to play spoiler in this game, above anything else, what's the one thing they really need to either hone in on or avoid in this game against the Panthers?
Don't turn the ball over in the red zone. I think every Missouri State Bears fan out there has to be thinking the exact same thing, because it's happened throughout the season. This hasn't been something that's just popped up over the past couple of weeks. I mean, this was going on ever since the home opener against SMU, a game the Bears probably could have won. And I know lots of people maybe would contest that statement or go against it, but they had the ball in the red zone against SMU. They lost the game by 18 points. If you turn the ball over there, which they did, then that can be a 14-point swing sometimes, because not only did you not get a touchdown, but then You hand the ball right back to the Mustangs, and they go down and score a touchdown. So those are just so costly. And really, if you look at the box score from any of these games, it's probably true more often than not. The team that does not turn the ball over as much ends up winning the game. And, I think on top of that, you got to focus on forcing turnovers as well, something the Bears have struggled with this year, but they did force 4 interceptions against Logan Fife and New Mexico State on Wednesday. So maybe turning a corner there as well.
Alrighty, Maddox, we'll see what happens there on a Wednesday night at Plaster Stadium. Tell the FIU faithful where they can follow you and the Growl to see how you all are preparing for this matchup at home.
Lots of different ways to listen to the Growl. You can get us on Spotify. You can also go on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts. You want to make sure that you search for The Standard, which is the name of our school newspaper here at Missouri State. And then underneath that tab of The Standard, you will find the Growl. Got all kinds of content coming out right now with football still going on and then basketball picking up, men's and women's basketball. Lots of excitement here in Springfield, Missouri. I want to make sure you check us out on those platforms.
Okay, thank you so much, Maddox. Now let's continue on here towards the latter end of the Paws Up preview as Kevin and I go over what happened last week in CUSA, make some predictions around the conference, and game picks for FIU at Missouri State. And that was the Growl. Thank you to Maddox for spending some time. Be sure to go follow him. He just hit 100 followers on the Growl's account on X. I mean, I remember when we hit that milestone a long time ago. So it's always great. It's always a great feeling. So definitely go give them some love as they get ready for this home game for them at Plaster Stadium. It gets lit there, I've seen.
I hope I end up going.
Yeah,
I hope I end up going. I'll be pretty pumped to go. Check it out.
I think it's time to now look around Conference USA, checking in on our foes. And Kevin, oh boy, this is going to get rough right here. Let's just dive right into it. Kennesaw beats FIU. I think we knew that. This, you mentioned this Western Kentucky La Tech game. It was amazing. Both teams, their final drives before overtime, they both were blocked field goals. So you go into overtime, La Tech scores first, Western Kentucky scores, but has the guts to go for 2, and they hit it. A really nice win for Western Kentucky and a deflating loss for a La Tech team. That is who we thought they were.
Hey, they almost came back. Well, I guess they did technically.
That was a great comeback just to force overtime, but still.
Yeah, my pick wasn't total. I wish I could get half points for picks, but yeah.
Delaware beats Middle Tennessee in a close one. Middle Tennessee gave them all they can handle, and Delaware was getting sloppy with the ball too in the end. They gave Middle Tennessee enough opportunities to come back and almost win this game, but the Blue Ends hang on and avoid would have been a colossal weekday CUSA upset.
Yeah, sorry, Jake Bolden. Middle Tennessee sucks. Like, I genuinely don't know what game they could win on this guy. I don't know. Do they play Sam Houston? If they do, that may be their win.
I know they play FIU after Missouri State.
Yeah, it's not very good for us.
And Missouri State beats New Mexico State in overtime. Kevin, I tried to stay up and watch this game. I just couldn't. I was impressed. It was a fun game.
I'll need to watch the highlights.
Oh, damn. Okay. So
I just didn't watch it, man.
Let's get into how we did. I split. I went 2 for 2. I obviously I got the Kennesaw State game wrong. New Mexico State over Missouri State, and Kevin, he crapped the bed. He didn't get a single game right.
I don't know why I thought I picked Missouri State.
Oh boy! So you actually convinced me, by the way, to pick New Mexico State. I was like, and then you said all that stuff about Coach Yost, and I was like, all right, I'm in. So I should be 3-1 if it weren't for you. So total records, 47-17 for me. Kevin, 43-21.
It's not bad. It's over 500.
It's not bad, but you're gonna have some work to do. And thankfully, we have more games now to pick.
Everyone's playing. Yeah,
everyone's playing in week 10. All 12 teams in Conference USA. But look at how spread out this is. You have a Tuesday game, couple Wednesday night games, a Friday night game, and then Saturday you have a couple 3:30 p.m. games. We're gonna start off in the just outside of Atlanta, the Kennesaw State Owls, one of the hottest teams in the group of 6. Taking on UTEP, and I'm not going to start believing in Scotty Walden. No. Give me Kennesaw.
Shout out Kai. We met Kai. Great guy. Great time. We're glad he was able to be inside the press box. So give me the Owls. As much as I would love to see my boy win it, but it could be a successful hate watch too. You never know.
It could be. If it goes, yeah. If it goes the other way,
every team we lose to turns into a hate watch. By the way, I don't know if you can, especially Delaware, and I hope they clip this.
Yeah. So when Navy's going to roll Florida Atlantic, we're going to be all over that too.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
So that's the only Tuesday game. Wednesday we have a couple games. Jacksonville State is heading to Murfreesboro, 7:30 kick. Weekday CUSA, you never know. But Cam Cook, does he have the most rushing yards in the nation? Cam Cook?
Yeah, he's top of the country. Yeah.
He's gonna run all over Middle Tennessee. Give me the Gamecocks.
Yep, me too. Gamecocks.
Yep. We'll save FIU to the end. Sam Houston State takes on Louisiana Tech on a Friday night. It's bad team versus potential fraud. That's what the situation here in Ruston. God, this would be such a great game for Sam Houston to win to get their first W. I don't want it to be potentially against us, man. I do not want it to be.
No.
But I don't trust Sam Houston's offense worth a damn against La Tech's defense, which is still, I think, pretty good. So I will take the Bulldogs here.
Yeah. Give me La Tech.
Saturday, we have a couple games.
Delaware, pretty good game.
Delaware at Liberty. I mean, I think Delaware is ready. They're desperate to get humbled by a Conference USA team here. And I think Liberty's going to be the one to do it. Give me the Flames. I'm taking the Flames here.
I don't like Delaware, so give me the Flames. Yeah.
The Liberty's due for a win that can maybe change their season because, there's still 5 games to go. They can turn it around, get to a bowl. This is going to be the one to do it.
Oh, man, hell, they're still in the conference championship talk.
Yeah. So I'm going to take the Flames here. And I guess it's an upset, even though they're at home. And then Yost takes on McIver in what should be an epic battle. No, it will not. I'm taking Western.
Give me Western.
And then, that was pretty much it. Sorry.
Actually, is McIver going to play? Oh, I don't care. Rodney Tisdale.
Doesn't matter. Their backup was good enough to win.
He was awesome.
So, they're just like Kennesaw. They might have a couple good quarterbacks there in Western Kentucky. So we'll move it on here. Get into our final question that has to be asked tonight, Kevin. Who will win the most ask here? But before we get into it, let's see what EA thinks. And I got to say, EA, again, they cooked here. Pretty good game. Let's go check it out.
We sensed a great deal of confidence, almost a smugness from this coaching staff.
What? Oh, it cut off there. Interesting. But yeah, great win for them. They were starting to choke, but they got back into it and they took down. By the way, EA really loves Travaris Dawson. They really love Dawson.
You gotta update that stuff.
I know. I listen.
For those wondering, he's a safety now.
Jenkins threw 3 touchdown passes.
To who?
Dawson was one of them, and I think it was Perry, and then I forget who got the third. But might have been a made-up. You need to find a made-up player. I think now it's timely fun to.
You go first this time.
I'm going first. Okay. Well, it would be so easy to jump off the FIU bandwagon. Listen, I know they're coming off a tough loss to Kennesaw State, but this team has now proven that, number 1, they can win on the road. Number 2, they can bounce back against Conference USA opponents. And number 3, I don't have a third reason, but what I will tell you is that the Panthers are going to be ready. They're going to be motivated for this game. That extra day off is going to help get them ready and rolled to go for this Wednesday night game. It's weekday CUSA. Craziness is ready to happen. I'm taking the FIU Panthers. I am not jumping off them anytime soon. Give me the Panthers in a close game. How about this, Kevin? 27-24. In overtime. Sorry there. All right, Kevin, take it away. Who is going to win this game between FIU and Missouri State?
Yeah, I think FIU will win this one.
Oh!
I think Missouri State is going to make it tough. I think it'll be a close game. I just think Kiwan's going to light it up a little bit this time around. A little multi-touchdown passing game, multi-passing touchdown game. I think we're going to get a big one from Jackson Verdugo as well. Paws. Big game from Jackson Verdugo. There we go. FIU wins. Let's go 21-17.
21-17.
Low scoring. Missouri State.
Yeah, mine was. I think it's low scoring.
And this is one big thing, and I'm sure we're recording this before you talk to Maddox. Spoiler alert. He will mention that Missouri State is one of the worst teams on third down offensively.
Hey,
I think I listened to the CUSA Roundtable podcast. I think he said 135 out of 136 third down conversion percentage.
Yep.
FIU needs to stop that. FIU needs to make that be the case, and they will be very successful, and they will force some punts. I don't know what Missouri State's fourth down conversion percentage looks like, but it damn well better look bad because FIU needs to stop Missouri State, needs to stop Jacob Clark, needs to stop Shamari Lawrence, who came off a season-high 97 rushing yards, and Jamari Robinson is a very good wide receiver. Missouri State's a good team, but FIU's the better team, I think, and FIU will win a second road game.
Yes. FIU.
Yeah. Let's
FIU.
go!
Yes!
Yeah, let's go! And you know what? Jay Gibson's doing his goddamn live stream.
Yes,
Woo!
FIU, you said it. FIU has the better roster, just like against Delaware. Sorry, I don't know what got over.
Something. Just like Western Kentucky.
FIU, Missouri State, Wednesday. It's 8:00 kick, Kevin, for the Eastern Time Zone chads. So that means by the time midnight rolls around, the game might be over by then. But it's gonna be.
Yeah, we'll see if I'm on with you or not.
FIU radio. Who's on? Who's doing the radio?
It'll be Corey Brooks and Nicholas Garrido, two positive podcast legends.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. CBS Sports, they do a great job there. I finally got my situation with CBS Sports resolved, by the way. DirecTV.
If I don't go, we should go. We should meet up and watch the game together.
Twin Peaks Doral.
I've heard that. That's real. You know what? Never mind. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
Yeah. No, I heard from people they were there for the Western Kentucky game though. It got pretty lit. But yes, I will be doing another watch party. That's what I was told during.
Who told you this? Who told you this?
I forget his name.
Exactly. So it's not true.
Kevin alluded to it. My Paws Up watch party will be in full session. More guests, more awesomeness, better calling of the game by me. I learned my lessons.
Touchdown, FIU.
Listen, it wasn't always my voice getting cracked. It was the microphone being cut off. Listen.
Yeah, I will say, and I meant to tell you this, it did have a little bit of ocean sounds at times, like,
it got better after halftime, and I can't explain to you how it happened. It just did. But after halftime,
well, no Jonathan Mayer on this one. He's going to be at Mo State, so
yeah, we'll get some cool guests, I promise, and I'll be debuting my Halloween costume for that game. It's going to be a good one too, Kevin. Kevin still doesn't know what it is. I told Rick, and I promised to Rick, don't spill the beans. But
why'd you tell Rick, not me?
I gave you the hint, right? Will Ferrell movie. So
all right, let's wrap this up because if not, Maddox won't have a lot of time to speak.
All right. So again, go watch FIU football, 8:00, CBS Sports Network. And until next, halftime and post game. Kevin will be on those, so
Well, that's the hope.
Either it'll be right there in his room, or maybe somewhere else. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Hopefully.
So until then, have a great rest of the night. Get ready to watch some football. Paws up!